It's great to be joined by Quadlock young guns, Oscar Piastri and Pedro Acosta. Guys, welcome. How are you, first of all, Oscar?
Very good. I'm ready to go cut some laps.
Well, we're going to go and cut some laps in a go-kart. We're here at Brignoles. Now, Pedro, how are you? Have you done any karting before?
Good. For sure, no. I'm quite nervous, to be honest, coming from two wheels, but I think for sure I will enjoy a lot.
Yes.
Well, tell me, first of all, Pedro, about your relationship with four wheels. Do you watch Formula One? Are you a fan?
Well, since Fernando came back to the championship, it's true that in Spain is coming more and more this topic to see a Formula One race on Sunday, but it's true that I was never having a day like this, for this, are going to be interesting.
Yeah. Well, Os, what advice have you got for him about getting in a shifter car?
I've not done that many days in a shifter kart myself, but I think you'll be impressed by the brakes for sure, because from a motorbike you have a lot more stopping power, I guess. And also you'll be busy, especially on a track like this with all the gears. You'll be doing a lot with one hand, so it'll be...
It's going to be difficult coming from MotoGP with all the buttons and using both hands.
Yes, I think it'll be, but it'll be good fun. You'll enjoy it a lot.
Os, what about you and two wheels? I know you went to the British MotoGP race last year. How did you find it?
I really loved it. Really loved it. It's for me, it's always very interesting to see any sport at the top level, but especially when it has two wheels and an engine. It's the most similar to our sport, and I think for a lot of the F1 drivers, we think you guys are... A lot of people think F1 drivers are crazy because of our sport. The F1 drivers think you guys are crazy doing it on two wheels.
Yeah. At the end, when my family become more natural, but the speed that you guys are using in the corners, this is outstanding for us for this. Gonna be nice.
Yes.
What is the thing that stood out when you went to Silverstone?
I think for me, just the acceleration, especially because obviously the corner speeds compared to F1 is a lot slower, but the acceleration on the straights is insane. I was watching in Maggots and Beckett's at Silverstone a couple of years ago, and through the corners it looks a bit slow compared to us, but then you see on the straights you guys just take off, whereas for us we stay quite fast, and then on the straights we don't look to get that much faster, but it's very, very interesting to watch. And also, for us, if we go a little bit too fast in a corner, we go a little bit wide, or we lock a tire or whatever. For you guys, you go a little bit too fast or a bit too wide, and you're on the ground.
Painful sometimes.
Wow.
Yes, exactly.
Pedro, Austria, 300 Ks, you went down.
Yeah, this was not funny. I have a lot of fun in a bike all my life, but this was not funny. It's true, I don't know, when maybe you guys broke a wing, you can go in, repair and go again. Here is become these things, that everything can happen and become everything more, I don't know, nervous.
Yeah. Now look, there are a lot of parallels between you two. Okay, it's year one for you in MotoGP, it's year two for you in Formula One, but you both dominated the junior categories of your sport. And here we are in year two, Os. Just a quick resume of 2024. What is it? 5 podiums. You've had that first win in Hungary as well. It's going really well.
Yeah, it's been a good year. Obviously, as a team, we've taken another step forward in the last few months, which has been very exciting to be a part of. And also for myself, I feel like I've taken a good step forward from my first season, and getting that first win this year was very special. There's been a couple of near misses as well, but it's been a lot of fun, fighting back at the front, of course, for everyone on the grid. We're all there because we've been at the front of the junior categories. So to now be back at the front in F1 is very, very special, very cool. So I'm enjoying it a lot.
Talking about near misses, good of you to let Ferrari win on home turf in Italy.
Yeah, we went for a 2-stop strategy, and they were very brave on a 1-stop strategy with Charles. So that one was a little bit painful to swallow. But I think for me, I felt like I did a lot of things right in the race, and as a team, I don't think we were willing to take the risk of that strategy, because it looked very, very difficult before that point. So. Whenever you cross the finish line so close to the winner, it's a bit painful, but it's still a good weekend.
Let's cast our minds back to the win in Hungary. I remember you saying immediately afterwards it was going to take a while for it to sink in. Has it?
It definitely has. I think it took a couple of days, definitely. You know, when I woke up the next morning, I had quite a big smile on my face thinking, you know, I achieved a pretty special accomplishment yesterday. And then, you know, when you go to the next race as well, you know, you have that extra bit of confidence knowing that you've, you know, been the most recent winner. And it's just a really nice confidence boost. So it's definitely sunk in now. But I think as soon as I got back in the car, you know, you completely forget about what you've done the weekend before or, you know, your whole career before. And you just try and do the best job you can on that day. So it's definitely sunk in, but I don't want just one win. I want as many as I can get.
Now, 5 Aussies have won in Formula One. Can you name them?
Well, myself, Mark, Daniel, Alan Jones, and Jack Bravo.
Spot on. Elite.
I've been asked that question before, but I'll play it off like it's my first time.
And Pedro, for you, what a phenomenal start in MotoGP. What was it? Podium in your second race. That's insane.
Yeah, this was quite cool. At the end, we started in Qatar. Was not the easier way, you know, because I think in MotoGP we are not at the moment the stronger manufacturer. And I don't know, from beginning I was super comfortable with the bike. Was since many years that I was riding with KTM bikes and driving with them in a MotoGP class was awesome also. It's true that the start was much easier than how it's been now, but we are taking the way again.
How much of a step up is MotoGP over Moto2?
Well, for sure, huge, you know, because enter many things that in Moto2 you are not using, like controls, aerodynamics and all these things. Also, the group of people that you are having behind is awesome compare Moto2, because maybe you are having a team of 4 or 5 persons and then you jump in MotoGP and you are talking around 20 or 25 for this. It's quite awesome also, and it's never easy for a young guy that is coming quite fast to understand all these changes.
The bike's a little bit narrower in MotoGP, isn't it? How does that affect things?
Well, for sure, the things that affect the most is the aerodynamics, you know, because when you are behind somebody, all the air that is coming to you is making you less stable, you know, and having more wheelies and more issues. Also, to warming up the brakes and the wheels with all this aerodynamics is not quite easy for this. Becoming everything quite worse, but is the key of MotoGP at the end of the day, to manage all these things.
I read something where you said you were quicker on the anti-clockwise corners. Is that right? Is that?
Well, at the end, it's not like
me.
in a car that you always have the throttle in the same point, you know. At the end, we are playing too much with the angles, and normally in the left corners I feel quite more natural feeling on throttle.
Do you find that?
No, for us it's the same left and right. But it was interesting what you were saying about from Moto2 to MotoGP, because for me it was more or less the same. Like in Formula 2 we had, I don't know, like you have 1 or 2 engineers and 6 or 7 mechanics, and then when you get to F1 you have like 10 or 15 mechanics and, you know, 6 or 7 engineers. So it sounds very, very similar.
Yeah, I think when you jump to the top class of any sport around, there's many people more with you. You know, also I was jumping, being a factory gas guy, and was many people around. I remember the first time that I jumped on the bike was, I don't know, like 25 or 30 persons around just listening myself, and this was like, wow, this is quite new.
Yeah, yes, that sounds very, very familiar.
And you have to learn to optimize all of those things that you have.
Yeah, for sure, more try to filter when you need some information and when you need other. It's quite easy to lose the way in MotoGP, I think, and with all the changes that we can make in the setup and in the electronics and everything, it's quite easy to lose the way for this. More than anything is needed to try to understand when you need to find one person or when you need to listen other one.
Yeah. Now, let's talk about momentum. You've both got momentum. Osk, how do you see the rest of 2024?
I think it will be interesting. You know, obviously as a team, we are fighting for the Constructors' Championship, which is a big target for us, and something we didn't really expect 6 months ago. So for me, that's kind of the main opportunity for the rest of the year. Obviously, the Drivers' Championship is still a very outside possibility, but yeah, for sure, the Constructors' Championship is the big goal, and of course, the best way to do that is by finishing as high as possible. So, I think on a personal level, I have a lot of tracks that last year was my first time going to these circuits, so I have some unfinished business with some of them, and some things I want to improve from last time I was there. But no, I think the Constructors' Championship is definitely the main target for us, which is, of course, a bit weird to say as a driver, but yeah, for us, the team aspect of it is very big. And yeah, that's a big thing that's different from the junior racing I did was, you have 30 or 40 people in the whole team in F2. And for us at McLaren, we have over 1,000 people building everything. So it's a massive deal and a much bigger thing than just for the driver.
Everything you're saying or suggests that you're still getting better. So given that the regulations in Formula One are staying pretty much the same over the winter, in your mind, is this also about preparing for 25?
Yeah, definitely. I think you always want to improve regardless of what the target or the goal is in the future. But I think for me in 2025, we have we've been building a very strong car this year. The rules are staying the same, and I feel like I've made some very good improvements from last season. So I want to be able to keep that momentum rolling, and yeah, hopefully we have a car that's capable of fighting for both championships from the start of the year. So that's probably the big thing, trying to get as much experience as I can, and hopefully it would be a good problem to have if I need to use it next year.
And Pedro, how about you? How do you see the momentum you're building and for the rest of this year and for 25 when you change teams?
Yeah, for sure. This season feel quite in a way of improving. We was having some issues in the middle of the championship. It's true that now we are getting again to the top position. It's quite nice, because it's when everything was so easy at the beginning, then feel quite difficult to accept sometimes, But anyway, it's true that we are trying always to be in the top position. We are achieving these goals again. We are again in these top levels for this. Like you say, it's true that are gonna be a tough end of the season with many new tracks also for me in a MotoGP bike. That is not never easy because all Friday you lose the Friday just trying to understand the track and to understand how to be fast. And this is not the best way being having an important session Friday afternoon. But then talking about next year, for sure happy, to be back racing in orange and to be back being a factory team from KTM.
Can I ask you both about speed now and the sensation you get on your different disciplines? I mean, on a bike, you're just hanging off it. So I'm guessing 300 kph feels very fast. Is that the case?
Yeah, for sure. 360 km per hour. You feel it. You feel it at the end.
How many tracks are you doing 360 km?
Well, maybe not too much. Maybe 5 or 6 during the season, but the average could be like 340, something like this. For this, feel fast. Even when you are trying to brake and whole head is moving around and you are feeling there, is even more impressive.
Do you feel mad sometimes?
What do you mean, man?
Mad. Like when
crazy.
It's crazy.
For sure, it's insane. I mean, it's not logical that a bike can arrive to this speed, but anyway, also in one way, it's fun.
Oscar, how about speed for you when you're strapped in so tight into that McLaren?
I think for me it depends a little bit on the circuit, because obviously we have we're strapped into the car and we have our most downforce at the most speed. So actually the car is very stable when we do that kind of speed, and you don't have to hang off you don't have to try and balance yourself on the car and stuff like that. So it feels a bit more in control, I would imagine. But yeah, for sure your head is also moving around a lot. You have a lot of wind noise, so you don't really hear anything apart from just the wind. So it's similar in some ways, but I would imagine you feel much more in control doing 350 or 360 in a Formula One car versus a MotoGP bike.
Another difference between you guys is the calendar. You have street tracks, you don't. And so there's a sort of irony that the slowest track of the year, Monaco, is arguably one of the most challenging, right?
Yes, I guess it's something very different from motorbikes, and obviously there's clear reasons why why you guys don't go on street tracks. I know that they still race in Macau and stuff like this, but those guys are another level. But for us, the street circuits are very challenging because, of course, the speeds aren't always so high. But if you get it a little bit wrong, you're in the wall and having a big crash. And for us, that's where it's difficult, especially somewhere like Monaco or Singapore, where it's all very slow and very technical. They're the most challenging mentally, maybe not so much physically, but mentally it's where you really have to concentrate a lot.
And are we going to see you, Pedro, maybe Isle of Man TT?
It's a tracks that I love it, to be honest, and races that I love it to see, but I think to be a MotoGP rider there, it can be a mess, At the end of the day, we live our, we see racing in other view, and it's true that these guys, the level that they can achieve being around, around walls and around trips are awesome.
Well, guys, I did want to talk to you about Quadlock as well, because isn't it fantastic that they brought you two together, two up-and-coming guys from your respective sports. What does it mean to be an ambassador for you, Os?
Yeah, I think for me, it's obviously very, very special to be part of. Being part of a Melbourne-based company, which is where I'm from, is a very cool thing. And we've been on a good journey together from the start of, I guess both of our careers. It's more or less the start of Quadlock, the start of my F1 career. So it's been cool to be from the same town and the same place and try and go on that journey together, definitely.
And for you?
Well, it's for sure super nice. At the end, it's always nice to have companies like that help me since the moment that I started in MotoGP, that I know that it's not easy, never, to believe in one project like that with somebody so young like that. For this, so happy to be part of this family. Right,
so guys, let's bring it back to the karting. Mm-hmm. You've probably never driven anything so close to the ground, Pedro.
Yeah.
Normally, I have my head. I have my head super close to the ground, but something with this, with this vision so low, for sure not.
Yeah.
So, Oscar, how old were you when you first drove a go-kart?
So my first time, I think I was probably maybe 7 or 8. So I had I raced remote control cars from when I was about 6 years old, and the problem with those is you can't really race them in the rain very well. So sometimes the races would get cancelled, and my dad actually would take me to the rental karting place, and I had my first times there. And then a few years after that, obviously there's some people from the motorsport world that also race remote control cars, and we met someone through that who had a go-kart, and I had a go in theirs. And so that was probably when I was maybe 8 or 9 years old in a proper go-kart. And then I think the next weekend I had my own go-kart in the garage at home, and then my first race was maybe 6 months after that. So I would say about 9 years old.
He's done a lot. Have you tried remote control cars?
Not also. They are gonna be a mess. Eh? You are laughing about that, but I don't really. No, but I think I hope that we'll feel like the car in the street for this. Let's try.
Yes, I think it will feel much faster, I think, than I don't know which car you have on the road, but it will be fast.
We hope to don't make a mess.
Charles Leclerc was here last weekend doing a 42-hour kart race.
Yeah. I hope his ribs are okay.
Oh, I wasn't going to mention ribs.
Yeah, but are
they better?
Yeah, they're good. But in a go-kart,
he had
that's
some broken ribs earlier in the season.
Yes,
so.
but this one, if you've never driven before, it will be a little bit sore, but it should be okay.
Yeah, we need to be safe for next week for this.
Yes, exactly.
Who's going to be quickest?
If it's not me, then I think I'm having some problems. I think maybe I need a new
Maybe
job.
I put my money on him. I need luck today.
Well, look, can't wait to see you out there, guys. Thank you.
We go.
Thank you.